If you're a beginner looking to make money with a digital marketing agency, this is the most comprehensive and beginner-friendly tutorial you will find. It's also very long and very detailed, and we will show you everything you need to know, including how to get clients, how to sell those clients, how to price those clients, what services to offer, how to do those services, how to automate those services, literally everything you need to get started with this side hustle or online business. And since I don't want to waste any more of your time, let's just dive right in. So if you're new to the whole concept of it, the whole idea of a digital marketing agency or micro digital marketing agency, which is what I like to call them, the idea is this. Literally every city in the world has small businesses. Some cities have a few, some cities have hundreds, some cities have thousands if you're in some big cities. And those small businesses range from things like plumbers, HVAC, landscapers, pet groomers, hundreds of different types of small businesses that are just serving their local community. Now, not always, but typically they are very good at their craft. They're very good at pet grooming, or they're very good at cleaning, but they're very, very bad at marketing, meaning they're very bad at finding potential clients and selling their services to their potential clients. Now, for a lot of these businesses, they make hundreds, perhaps even thousands of dollars off of each customer. The last time we had an HVAC guy into our house, we spent $4,500, I think, getting everything up and running again. We also liked them, which means we'll spend more money with them in the future, which means the total value of us as a customer is probably somewhere in the range of $10,000. Now, that's good for what we're going to be doing here because it means that these companies put a lot of value on a customer. They're willing to spend a lot of money to get a customer. So all we're going to be doing is connecting with these local businesses, and we're going to help them do those two things. Find people that could use their services and convert or sell those people their services. And we're going to do it all using systems and the internet so that we don't have to do a ton of work and they don't have to do a ton of work either. So without further ado, let's move into your first step as you're just starting at this. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to pick a niche. You can just think of the word niche like a category. You're going to pick some group or subset of local businesses that you like to initially target. Now, you can expand beyond this as you go, but in the beginning, you'll find it's much easier and you do much better if you target one small subset of local businesses in your area. So what you're seeing on the screen right here, I'm going to leave a link down to this page. It's going to give you a bunch of different choices. It's actually going to give you over 100. So obviously they're all not perfectly great, but you can see window tinting, car rental, carpet cleaning installations, right? Fencing for providers, flooring providers, glass repair, handyman, home theater services. I've done some for at least 3 or 4 of these. I did really well with home theater services actually. And you can see you can scroll on that link I give you down below and you can just pick one of these that makes sense for you. Preferably something that you're experienced in or you have some knowledge about because you'll be able to have discussions with these people. Your marketing will be much better if you understand that industry in some way. So if you're super untech friendly, you hate movies and you don't like home theater service at all, that might not be the niche to target, even if it's a profitable niche. Now, for the sake of simplicity, I would usually do what I call double layering, meaning I would pick a niche and I would actually only pick one service. So we're going to talk about services a little further on, which is essentially what you're going to offer. And in the beginning, I wouldn't offer 7 different services because you're going to have to learn and become an expert of those services. Any one of those services could go wrong in the beginning and damage your reputation with these clients. So I would pick one service to be good at, if you're new to all this especially, and I'd pick one niche to target with that one service. And that's where I hone in on in the very, very beginning. Now, when I'm talking about services, I'm talking about anything that will help a business get more leads, right? A lead is a potential customer. It's somebody that hears about the business but hasn't given them money yet, or helps them convert those leads into customers, or helps them take those customers and make more money off of each customer, right? That's kind of the 3 things that we're going to do in the beginning for these businesses. And so you're going to pick one of these services. These services include 1, helping them convert with a better website. You can help them build a better website or a sales funnel that will help them convert more of these people that hear about them into actual paying customers. 2, you could help them increase the amount of money they make off of each customer by helping them build follow-up sequences in email or text, meaning after a customer has spent some money with them, you send something 3 months later or 3 years later or however long later makes sense for that industry saying, hey, we'd still like to serve you if there's anything that you need from us, and you can help these businesses make twice as much per customer doing something like that. 3rd, you could help them get more leads. You could do that by doing things like helping them rank higher in Google. You could help them run some kind of ads on Google or Facebook or one of those platforms. You could help them run a social media campaign or start a blog or any of these things that businesses are doing to get their name out there more. Now, similarly to picking a niche, if there's any of these things that you're already familiar with, you already have experience with, right? Maybe you already have some web design experience. Maybe you have already built sales sales funnels for somebody, or you're really good at writing emails, you have a good writing, persuasive writing background, right? If you have skills to bring in, I would take those skills up front and run with something along those lines, because it'll be a lot easier for you in the beginning. So to give you a good example of what I'm talking about, I know of one person, and I actually made a whole video on this person, that his entire business was built around one single small service. And what he would do is when a company, one of these small local businesses, would have a customer, and that customer would finish the sale and be done, he automated the process of getting them to give the company a Google review. He didn't charge a lot for this, only $100 a month, but by automating and creating that process, he was able to build up dozens or hundreds of clients, and that's all he did for them, was that one small thing. So you can see businesses like this that have all these Google reviews, they'll hire someone like that, and for $100 a month, he makes sure that every single customer, happy customer, is given a link to go and give them a good Google review. And that helps in a lot of things like SEO, reputation, things like that. So I would pick one niche, and then I would pick at least one service to start with, and that's how I would approach what your agency is going to offer in the beginning and who it's going to offer that to. I want to pause briefly, and if you're looking at this nervously saying, I don't have any skills, I don't know how I'm going to come in and do this, before you give up thinking you don't have that, it's fine. We're going to show you in the video. There's a ton you can do with templates and automation and softwares that will do 95% of this for you. You can learn to use them in a day or two, and they will take care of a lot of the heavy lifting. Now, hopefully that relieves some of your nerves. Let's move on to the next step. Step 2 is what I call the fun one, because step 2 is where you actually get to start creating something and having something out there that you can show people. And it's just really an enjoyable step as you build out the storefront or the front facing part of your business, right? We're going to give you your website and all that stuff. Now, the company that we're going to use for this, and I'll tell you the reason I use this, is called Go High Level. And the reason we're going to use this software in particular is not only is it going to help you create your business and your front of your business, but it also is going to let you do everything for your clients inside of this software, meaning you're going to be able to bill your clients. You're going to be able to do a lot of the services that you offer your client done directly in here automatically by Go High Level. It's really going to be a one-stop shop so that you're not going to have 15 different softwares that you're going to have to learn and use for different clients. Everything's going to be done inside of here. It really is built very specifically just for this. So I will leave an affiliate link down below for Go High Level, which is what I'm going to be using for a lot of the tutorial as we move through this. Now, I'm not going to walk you through the entire setup process. It's fairly standard, but once you've created a Go High Level account and you're inside it, you're going to see something like this. The way Go High Level works is it's built for agencies, meaning it's built for somebody to have clients. And we're going to call our clients' accounts sub-accounts. So we're going to have a main account, which is our account as the Go High Level user, and inside of that we're going to have sub-accounts. Now, if you're confused on plans, the $97 a month plan will let you create your own storefront, and it will let you bring two clients aboard, which should be all you need in the beginning. As you grow, you can upgrade to the higher and more expensive plans, which will allow you to have unlimited clients and build upon that. Once you get through the whole onboarding process, and they do offer phone calls and things like that, I would recommend that if you get stuck. They do have people that will help you for free, help you get everything up and running, but you don't have to take that, as we'll try to cover everything that you need in this tutorial. You're going to end up on a screen just like this, and you kind of have to understand how Go High Level works, okay? Meaning it's a little bit confusing until you understand that this is built for an agency. And if we're on that $97 a month plan, essentially it's going to create one account for you, and then you'll have two accounts for clients. Okay, so right now I could switch to agency view, which is where we're front facing. It's basically seeing the back end as an agency. You can see how you're marketing to your clients, your invoicing, your billing, all of that fun stuff. Or you can do individual clients. And we're kind of going to be our own client on this plan, meaning we are going to create our own website and stuff as if we're a client or a sub account of this main account. So you can see right here, it comes built in. Once you sign up with everything, you'll have an account just like this sitting there, and we're going to start building our website. And the beauty of this is we're 5 to 10 minutes away from having a decent looking website. Okay, so make sure that you're not in an agency view. If you are in an agency view somehow, you'll just go to here and you'll click on your account that it created for you, or your sub account. And you can see here, there's a ton that we can do inside here. We can do a ton with calendaring, marketing. You can see it's got email marketing, social planners, really vaguely or slightly overwhelming in the beginning, but we're just gonna focus on getting a site up. So we're gonna head to our sites right here. We're gonna click sites, and it can do all kinds of different websites like blogs and things, but we're just gonna create a website. We just need something simple to make ourselves look legit, right? It's hard to sell somebody on a website service or really any service if you don't have anything for them to go and see on the internet. So we're gonna click here, we're gonna click create new website. We can do it from scratch if you really wanna start totally from scratch, but the real beauty here, and like we talked about earlier, when you come into this with no experience, it can be hard to start from scratch. And so the real beauty is these templates right here. We'll click continue, and someone has already built probably hundreds of front-facing websites for the many digital marketing agencies. And all we've got to do is take it and make it our own. And I hope you're realizing that this is awesome, because now we can do the same thing as we get clients, right? As you bring on plumbers and HVAC people and pet groomers, there's going to be templates that you can use for them as well, where the site is already built. It's one click, and then you just do a little bit of customization. So we're going to hop in here and we're going to search for a template. We're going to type in agency right there, and you're going to see there's a marketing agency template. Continue on scrolling, marketing firm, digital marketing agency. And so we can click and just view them, and we can find one that we like, that we want to customize to make our own. So you can see here, that's a pretty legit looking website. I usually want something simple. It's just one page that kind of scrolls. This looks like it is that, right? And then a very simple schedule an appointment button. And you add your services, some reviews, which we'll kind of get down the road, FAQs. You can scroll through and really spend some time if you'd like to find something better. So I'm going to click continue right here, and it's going to basically take what we just saw and bring it into our account, that whole site. And now all we've got to do is customize it a little bit. Now, if I were you and I was planning on doing this for my real thing, I would spend some time to actually learn the Go High Level Builder. It's not hard. It'd probably take you an hour or two and a YouTube tutorial, but we'll give you some really basic ideas here. Basically, the way the Go High Level Builder is built is it does everything in rows, and you can see when I highlight a row, it's basically everything from the left to the right, okay? And you can see it's green. Whenever it goes green, we know that I've got a row. Now within each row, we have sections, and the sections are highlighted in kind of that purplish, I guess, is the color. So you can see here, this is one section, and then that is another section. The row is built into two sections, a big and a small one. And then inside of sections, we have what's called elements. And the elements are things like buttons, text, links, pictures, all that stuff. And so you can see this is an element. This is the section that it's in, and it's all built inside of that row. And so we can make adjustments to each of those individual things as we go. If I want to edit that button itself, I'll go here and I can edit the settings of the button itself right there. And you can see there's tons of different settings as far as color, the font size, really anything that you would want to do to that button will be edited there. So I can very easily change this text to talk with Spencer. Right? Very easy to do if that's something that I want to do. I can also go to these links and change them if I want. If I want a background picture that's more like me down there, that's a picture of me, which may be something you want, I would go down here and I would see this is a green, right? So this is the entire row, and that's where that background picture is. I'm going to click on settings for that entire row, or I can just click on the row, and you can see as I go down, background media, it's got a picture right there, and I can swap that picture out with something of me. So all we're going to do in the very beginning, right, is we want something very basic. We're going to go through and we're going to swap all these out. We're going to change out to whatever service we want to offer. Okay, we're going to keep scrolling down. We can change these buttons if we want. I wouldn't spend too much time on this in the beginning. We want to get a client or two. Once you're running, you can go ham and have fun with your website. But right now, we just want something legit and professional looking to show people as we start. So we'd go through, we'd edit each of these. We'd edit the text on these. You can see this FAQ is just an element. And when I go click on it, I can see a bunch of different options here. I can change the text for any one of these different list items. You can see very, very easy to do. Can't teach you every single individual thing that might show up on your template, but as you can see, it's very, very easy to have a legitimate website up and running in just a few minutes. One more thing you may want to do is make some sort of logo right there. You can see I can click into this element right here, and as I scroll for a while, I can see something that says brand logo, and I can swap that out for a logo. Now to make a logo, very, very easy to do. We'll leave a link down below to this as well. You can go to canva.com/AI logo generator. We can click create a logo with AI and very quickly get some pretty good logos. You can see here, all I did was create an agency called Spencer's Agency. I told AI to make me some logo options, and it gave me these four right here, and I ended up running with this one right here and downloading it. Now you can tell to do things like white background if you want, or PNG, but you can see I was able to quickly upload that right there, and I've got a fairly legitimate looking front to my site. I'd probably mess with the color scheme a little bit of what I just did, but that's things that you can kind of do as you grow and grow. Now the next step is to actually get a domain name or a URL, right? That's gohighlevel.com, spencersagency.com, whatever you want it to be. This will cost a little bit of money every year, not a crazy amount. You can usually get a domain for about $12. So we're gonna click connect domain right here. And you can see here, it has a purchase domain option directly inside of Go High Level. Now, all you're gonna do is basically search around a little bit. You've probably got some idea of what your agency wants to be. I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on this, but we're gonna call it spencersmarketingagency.com. That's probably not taken, but who knows? You can see here, you'll keep typing in stuff until you find something that's one, not out of your budget, and two, available. So this is available, it's $12 a year. I can run with that. I'm gonna click buy, I'm gonna agree, and we're gonna run with that. Now you may have to wait a few minutes for everything to generate here, so go get a drink or something like that. Usually should only take like 3 to 5 minutes until you'll get a green dot there which says your domain is active and it's up and running. We can now manage this domain, we can connect it to our product, which is the website we just created. And I can continue through this process. Connect your domain, subdomain, domain URL, spencersmarketingagency.com, and we can click continue. Now it's going to get it all set up, and we're going to be able to see it inside of our options inside of that website. It's pretty cool here. When I first started, it took so long and it was so hard to do stuff like this. And now there's all these builders and things, and in 10 minutes you can have a legitimate website, a legitimate domain, and have very little knowledge and experience still at the same time. Now it's going to lead you through a setup process here. We're going to click add records. We're going to wait, and this part can be a little bit complicated. Now it's going to take you through a setup process, and you're going to basically follow this changes enough that it may be different in your tutorial, but you're going to need to do some things called adding some records. But if you follow the setup process, it'll eventually take you to a page like this, and you'll need to connect it to your actual website. So we'll click connect, we'll click website. If we've done it right, we'll see our website right there. We'll want to set up a default home page. You probably only have one page, so it should be the only one that shows up right there. But if not, it'll be something like that. And we'll click proceed to finish. Now, when I go back to this initial page, which should still be open, it should have opened it in a new page. I can click refresh right here. I can refresh the page, and everything will be connected, and you will actually have a legitimate website. So congratulations, you are up and running. You've got spencersmarketingagency.com, and in my case, it gave it a crazy name, and we're going to change that. But you can see if I click on that, now we can go to spencersmarketingagency.com/home, and all those numbers that we're going to remove, and we have a legitimate front-facing website. So let's edit this to make it a little cleaner, and then we can proceed to move on. So we're going to go back. We're going to go back to kind of the main website that we were just looking at. You can see that website has a bunch of different pages that you'll have to tweak if you want to include those links on your top browser. But we're going to go right here to settings, and we're going to change this path right here so it just says home. We like that much more than all those numbers. And now when I go to spencersmarketingagency.com/home, you can see we are here. Beautiful. Everything looks great. Looks like the logo didn't save. I must have forgot to save that, but not bad for 5 or 10 minutes of work. Now you have somewhere where you can send people if they want to learn a little bit more about you and see that you actually are legit and have a website as well. Here we go. Again, before we move on to step 3, I would watch a full tutorial on using the Go High Level Builder. You're going to be using this a lot. You're going to be using it for clients and for yourself, and it's worth spending 30 minutes to 45 minutes to actually become a master and understand everything that it can do and all your possibilities. Now let's move on to step number 3. Step number 3 is where that hustler mindset comes in. The rest of this stuff is fun. It's easy. You don't have to talk to people. You don't have to sell. You don't have to get shut down.
Hi, I'm Spencer. I would just like to introduce to. Get out of here!
Now, I always tell people that after this, once you have stuff set up and kind of running, it comes down to 2 things: getting clients and getting results. If you can get good at those 2 things, you will succeed with this. You'll succeed wildly, and you'll probably make more than you are at whatever job you're currently running at. So we need to get good at getting clients, and we need to get good at actually achieving things for those clients. So getting your first client. Now, different people think different things about this, but I'm okay with doing it for free for your first client if you can and you want to do that. If you're coming into this with no experience, you're coming into this feeling a lack of confidence in your ability to have somebody pay money, your website doesn't have any testimonials, things like that, it's worth it to grab one free client. You can use their business to help you learn Go High Level, to help you learn the services, and they get a free service as well. And then from then on, you start to charge clients using that testimonial from them and that experience that you gained from them. The real beauty of getting clients is the snowball potential that can happen once you get good results for one client. If you can get good results for one person, you can use those results to get a few more clients in, and you get good results for those few clients. You can use those as you're talking to a dozen more people, and it really can snowball if you're doing your job right. Now, everyone has different ways of finding clients. Some people are way more friendly and better at sales and tend to kind of gravitate to that method. Some people like to do things like postcards, or they like to go to local business meetups or do direct calling and just pull out their phone and call a bunch of businesses that are in their area. All of them can work. All of them take hustle, and all of them can work. But I'm going to show you what I think are the best ones and the ones that worked for me as I was building my first business like this. The number one way that I did it and that I've seen others do it is using Facebook. There's 2 routes that we can take on Facebook. I would use them both simultaneously. If you don't use Facebook, you can kind of do this kind of stuff on some other platforms, but really nothing is like Facebook for generating business leads. And honestly, there's a lot of business owners hanging out on Facebook right now. So there's Facebook groups and there's your own Facebook profile. Those are the 2 places that you can use to get your name out there and get potential clients on Facebook. Now, for Facebook groups, what you're going to do is you're going to look for local business owner groups. For example, if I go to here and I type in Utah Business Networking, right? I'm already in that group. Utah Business Owners, that's a community. Utah Business revival, Utah business networking opportunities. I could type in Utah plumbers if I'm going for plumbers, right? And probably find a group of Utah plumbers that I'll hang out and complain. Plumbing Utah. Oh, it's not a group right here. Plumbing advice Utah, Utah plumbers, electricians and contractors, right? Those are some small ones because we're kind of getting into some niche stuff here. But there's Facebook groups, and yeah, this group's only got 88 people, but if you're someone who's targeting plumbers, hey, those are 88 of your customers all sitting in that little group hanging out and talking, right? So Facebook groups are such an incredible place because it's all of your exact customers, whoever they are, hanging out in one place, talking to each other and asking questions and trying to help each other and get help from each other, and just a perfect place for you to insert yourself into that conversation. So all you do is you join 5, 10, 15, 20 different groups where you know that the person that's your ideal customer is sitting there hanging out, and then you start building relationships. Get in there and start selling day one. Hop in there, hey, blah, 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 I'm going to sell this to you. You're going to hop in there and you're just going to build relationships. You're going to answer questions. When you have results for one client, you might even post them and say, hey, I do marketing for plumbers, and this result happened to me today. You're basically gonna become a known voice in that group as an expert and as a value-driven person in that group. You're gonna do a lot of one-on-one conversations with people, just responding to people and building those relationships. As you have those conversations, you're gonna click add friend, and you're gonna add real friends so that they actually become your digital friends, right? Some of these people. And the next half of this puzzle is your own Facebook page. You're building relationships in these groups, and you're going to have conversations go offline where conversations end up in your messenger and things like that, and you're talking to people, and those are great opportunities to sell. Typically, you don't want to do it directly in the Facebook group because you can get kicked out, but you can bring people offline depending on the conversation. But you're also going to be adding friends, 5, 10 people a day where you make friends with them, you add them as a friend, and they can start to see the stuff that goes on your wall. And that's where the true selling can begin, because you're allowed to post whatever you want on your own Facebook wall. So now we can start doing all kinds of different posts, and you're really just start to play with this, and don't be scared to do this. Where I see people fail on this is typically that they just get too nervous and end up not doing some stuff, when you can just trial and error and kind of learn as you go. Most of the time, if it's a bad post, it's not going to get very many views, and it's not a big deal. So you're going to be trying to, one, add value, post things that all these new friends you're making, all these new business owners and things will comment on and engage in, right? What's working in your business? This is what's working in my business, things like that. Then you're going to do value kind of posts where, hey, I just found this new little trick that helps you get, helps your leads convert more, helps your plumbing business, or whatever it is. You're going to post stuff like that. And then you're going to post very direct sales stuff. Hey, I'm looking to take on another client. We're actually going to drop the price for the first month, or go free for the first month, or all kinds of different ways that you can go about this, but you're going to do sales posts. Really put yourself out there and see what comes of it. And you're going to mix these up and just play with it. Facebook is a great place to just build relationships. And if you approach it from that idea of where I'm just building relationships, trying to have conversations with people, and yes, sometimes I will be doing sales posts and things like that, but a lot of times I'm just genuinely trying to be a good member of a community. That's where most people fail too, is when they just shoot for the sale constantly. The sale comes easy when people have been watching you post for a while about things. The number one type of post, this is the number one thing that will get you sales, is if you can get results for one client, and you can post those on your Facebook page.
Hey, we just had a pet grooming business in our area. They were, getting 10 leads a month, and we just got them 40 leads this last month. Or they went from $10,000 a month to $25,000 in the last month because we were able to lock in some systems with them and help them convert customers better.
Right, imagine that post, and that gets seen by all these people that are like, oh, yeah, I'm totally down. And then it snowballs. It snowballs so quickly. Once you actually get results for somebody and you post those and let people see, you'll get a ton of interest. Add in a few more people and get good results for them. And every single time you have a good result, you post it. That is one of the biggest keys to you growing this business, is going to be you getting results and then showing people that are around you in Facebook what those results are. And it snowballs quickly once you get that first result post up. Now, the second way that's worked for me and worked for other people, but is harder, so it's going to take a little bit more and maybe is more of a long, slow plan, with Facebook being the primary front end plan, is YouTube. YouTube is a lead generation machine if you're using it right, okay? And there's a lot more that goes into it, but essentially you create a YouTube channel and you start teaching the things that you're doing. Hey, here's how to get more clients for a pet grooming business. Here's how to be a business owner and get more leads. Here's how to convert more leads, just stuff like that, where you post in these YouTube videos. And you're not going to need to be a big YouTuber for this to happen. You're not going to need to get a lot of views. I've got multiple people with 500 or less subscribers, and they're getting 100 or less views per video. But it doesn't matter, because those 100 views are so good and niche and they're the right person that they're getting clients every single month from YouTube. Now, to help you understand why I love YouTube so much, we're just going to go to my YouTube page right here, right? This is youtube.com, my home. I am logged in. You can see right here, this video is from 10 months ago. This video was from 4 months ago. This video was from 1 month ago, which means that in the case of this 10-month-old video and this 4-month-old video, these people are making money 10 months after their initial work or 4 months after their initial work. And we're not making money with YouTube in the traditional way, but what you're going to do, and we're going to leave a link down below to a really massive tutorial on this. What you're going to do is you're going to make little simple YouTube videos about the things that you would be doing. So if you're learning how to generate leads or how to do Google reviews or how to create a website, you make little videos about this stuff. There's this newsflash here that people don't want to do this. They'll watch the video. A lot of times they'll get overwhelmed. They just don't want to actually do it for themselves because they don't want to take all the time to learn and get good at that, and they'll just hire you. They'll just reach out to you, and this happens with so many people. I have people with channels with less than 500 subscribers. They get less than 100 views per video, but they'll make thousands of dollars on some videos because they'll get watched. The person will reach out and they'll sign up on a $1,000 monthly retainer based on what they saw on YouTube. And the beauty of it is they'll watch a YouTube video from 6 months ago. So they'll have a video they put out 6 months ago, and they'll still make money off that video today. They'll still be bringing in new clients with that video. So YouTube is actually probably my favorite way to market yourself because this search bar here is people that are struggling right now, right? Grow a small business or something like that might be something they type in. They're looking for help. They're the perfect person for you to go and be able to have a conversation with and start this process. Let's move on to pricing and selling. Okay, so this is the lead generation portion, the YouTube, the Facebook. That's where you're getting people that are somewhat interested or have a need for your product and service, right? Now, the next step is actually selling. So that's called marketing. Marketing is when we get leads and we get people interested in our stuff. And then selling is when we actually take them down that process to actually make money. So someone comes to you and they're interested, right?
Hey, that sounds awesome what you're doing. I'd like to learn more. This is my business. Let's talk.
So we're gonna go over the 4 main things you need to do when you're talking to this brand new potential customer, how to sell them or work with them at least and get them signed on. And then I'm gonna go over the actual process of doing that. Very, very easy to get somebody aboard and send someone an invoice and do all that as well inside of this software Go High Level that we're going to be using. So let's start with number 1. The first thing you will always do is start asking questions, as many questions as you can. You really want to get to the bottom of their actual problem, and at the same time you want to get to the bottom of the actual problem that they think they have. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're different, but you really want to get to the bottom of both of those. You won't be able to sell them or work with them unless you understand what they think the problem is, unless you're on the same page as them, and you obviously won't be able to help them until you've actually got down and drilled down to the actual problem. So similar to the way we're doing it in this video, you're just going to ask questions to break down their marketing and sales process. How are you getting leads? Okay, can I see the website? Okay, how's this website doing? Are you converting? Are you tracking these leads? Are you improving things? No, okay, good to know, right? Okay, how do you sell them? What's your sales process look like? And after they, get the business, what do you do next? How do you make more money off them? How do you get referrals from them? What is your process for making sure this goes smoothly? And you start asking these questions, and 99% of the time, the reason this business is coming to you is because somewhere in that process, right? Somewhere in the process I just described, they're missing pieces. And that's all you need to do is fill in these gaps. And we're going to show you how to do that with software later on in this video. You're going to fill in these gaps and you're going to help them and they're going to help you. After you ask questions, you're going to go into the value stage where you're actually going to kind of cut yourself off. You're going to go in and you're going to say, hey, you need this. Like this is your hole right here. There's a hole right here. And a lot of times people think, well, we can't show them their holes because then they're just going to go do it. But a vast majority of these people are not going to go do it. They're not going to want to do it. They're not going to want to learn all those pieces, and they're not going to want to do it themselves because they want to focus on their craft. So you're okay to spread value, to answer their questions, to dive in and show them everything and really give away the golden goose there, because they're not going to want to do it. And you're going to be able to do it. Step 3 is you're going to price them. People have a tendency to underprice themselves in the beginning. I would put in some work up front to actually learn, put in some good work and some research and actually learn a little bit up front. And then you can walk in confidently saying, yes, I can build a website. Oh, I can totally do email marketing. Yes, I know exactly how to do that. You can walk in with confidence and then you can bill them fairly. So don't undervalue yourself. I'm not going to give you exact pricing, but typically someone that comes on will pay between $500 and $1,000 a month for some of the smaller services we're talking about, and $2,000 to $3,000 a month for some of the bigger, more time-consuming services we're talking about, maybe the ones that you can't automate. And then number 4, once you've got this all ironed out, you're gonna use a value stack. And what a value stack is where we break down what we're giving to them in a way that helps them visualize, and it seems like a lot. So if you just tell somebody one line item, a lot of times, even though that line item is huge and potentially really hard for you to do, they just see it as one line item and they say that's not that hard, that's just one thing. You're charging me $1,000 a month for that one thing. When we could break that one thing, and we could break email marketing down to the research phase. We're gonna research and like create your perfect customer, and that's gonna be this much of it. We're going to craft the emails. We're going to do the analytics of the emails. We're gonna do the follow-up emails. We're gonna automate the emails so they go out. Can you see how I can break this into 5, 6, 7 different pieces and throw all of that onto this invoice? They get to see what it really is. You're not tricking them. You're helping them to see that this one line item is actually a hard process, and there's a lot that goes into it. And so you want to break it down in what's called a value stack so that they get a good idea of what's going on behind the scenes and don't feel like they're getting cheated with the amount that you're going to be charging them. Once you've agreed to something with this client, it's time to get them aboard, meaning it's time to get them billed and get them onboarded into your company. This is where you're going to start to appreciate Go High Level. For the next little while, you're going to start to see how many different pieces of this puzzle this one software can fill and do for you and make life really easy. So you're going to go into your Go High Level account right here that we've already set up, and you're going to go right here to payments. Very, very easy to do. You're going to agree on a price, preferably some monthly retainer price where you're getting paid every single month. But whatever the case, you're gonna go to payments right here and Go High Level. You're gonna click new, and you're gonna click on new invoice. And what an invoice is it's just something you send as a business to a customer to get paid. And if you see right here, it's going to, if you filled out all the information when you first set up the account, it'll have all this information for you to automatically create this right here, right? If you uploaded your logo, you gave it your address, everything like that, everything will be right here. And all you're going to really have to do is select a customer, which it's gonna be able to pull from all your email addresses. You're gonna select a customer. You can name the invoice. I usually just let it number it itself. You'll do an issue date and a due date. Now, I usually say money is due before any service is rendered, which means right now, right? You want today's date typically to be the due date. And then you can add a product. And all I do is each customer is a little bit different for me. And so all you've got to do is go to select product right here, create a product, and you'll name it. I would typically name it their customer's name. And then I would do product type as service. Price name is something I usually just put in the same thing as the product name, and then you'll do the amount, okay? Now, let's say we've got them billed for $500 for that first month. So I'll do $500 right here. You can see right here, I can click on save right there. Now, we can add a payment schedule as well if you've set up some kind of $500 for 3 months or something like that. But you can see it's going to create this awesome invoice right here. It looks official. It doesn't take you a ton of time. And as long as you connect you did everything right and you connected everything that it asked you connect when you set up the account, it'll automatically get deposited into your bank account once they pay. And what you'll do is you'll click send right here. You'll click send and it'll send over to the client. And all they have to do is click pay and you're good to go. Okay, we've done it. You've got a client, you've billed them. Hopefully they've paid for at least that first month of service. And now comes what I consider actually the most important part. You'll be able to get clients if you hustle and you try at this. Getting results for clients is much harder and honestly much more important. Because getting a client for 1 month is not going to give you a profitable business. Getting a client that stays for 12, 24, 48 months, that's how you have a business that grows and honestly becomes much easier to manage than a business that churns through customers, which is a model for some people. So we're gonna talk about getting results. What are you gonna do first to make these clients get wins so they stay with you for as long as possible? And I would say go for the low-hanging fruit first. So you can picture a beautiful apple tree, right? You get to the apple tree and you want a ton of apples. When you start though, you don't climb up the apple tree and grab the apple on the very, very top of the tree and start with that one. You grab the apple that's right in front of your face and you pull it and it's easy. Then you grab the next one and then they start to get a little bit harder. We're gonna take that same approach here with our clients. We're gonna start by getting them easy wins, right? We're gonna build rapport with them. We're gonna get them making money from us very, very quickly. And then we can kind of move on to some of the harder stuff that will also help, but it's gonna require a lot more effort on our part and maybe isn't quite as guaranteed to get results. Step 1 will always be onboarding. Once you start doing work for a client, you do not want to have to be relying on that client to be getting you back information. Meaning you don't want to have to be going back and forth. Hey, I need access to your Facebook account. I need access to your Google social profile. Hey, you need to get me this so that your email account so that we can send emails for you. If you're doing that, you'll find that the client tends to get busy and they stop replying or they're slow at replying. And then that stops you from getting them results. So you want to have everything up front that you've offered them. You want to have access to everything before you do any work so that the ball is now 100% in your court. And if you're a hustler and you're doing things right, you're going to get results here. Now, a lot of this will depend on what you sold them. Okay, you had a conversation, you figured out where their weaknesses are, you sold them, and now you need to get all the information. So this could include back office access to their website if it's on WordPress, or back office access to their email, all their social accounts, their Google business profile, which almost everyone will have. All of that is going to be important in the onboarding process. There's no more ball in their court that you're going to have to worry about. Here's what I would do though. We've talked a little bit about Go High Level up till now. Now's where things start to get really interesting. When we go back to our Go High Level account right here, you can see that when I click here, this is my personal business, right? This is a client and this is a client, okay? And they're fuzzed out, so you can't see them obviously, but what you can do in a Go High Level account with that $97 account is you can create what's called sub accounts for your clients, which is essentially an entire Go High Level account, everything Go High Levels offers, but just for them. And it helps you kind of create these individual little mini businesses inside of your main Go High Level account. Now, that $97 plan lets you do up to 3, which means you could get 3 clients or 2 clients if you're using yourself as one, which should easily pay once you want to go expand beyond that initial few clients. Once you have that problem where you have 4, 5, 6 clients, you're probably okay paying for the $300 a month plan, which is unlimited clients and accounts. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to go into your sub accounts right here. Okay, so you're going to click here, and you're going to switch into agency view, which will be an option if you're not in the right view, which is kind of like the big picture view. You're going to click on sub accounts, and then you're going to click create sub account. Now this is going to be for your client, right? You're going to give them their entire own account. Now I prefer to do it this way, right? They're probably going to have their own website. They're probably going to have maybe some other email marketing software they're using. They're going to have a bunch of pieces. There's 2 problems. One, they're probably going to be spread out between 3 or 4 different softwares, which tends to be more costly. You tend to have to deal with issues where the softwares talk to each other, and this software updates and it breaks. When there's multiple softwares involved, you just tend to have things be a little more complicated. And the other issue is, once again, the ball is more in the client's court. Now, there's 2 problems with that. 1, you may end up waiting for them with a problem, like we talked about earlier. 2, you may end up building something for them and them leaving and taking it in 30 days. You build this whole funnel, you build everything, thinking they're going to be a 6-month client and be profitable down the road. And they say, oh, that's awesome, great, thanks so much for all your work. And they run off with it in your first month, and you've been taken advantage of. Versus if you build it inside of your Go High Level account, you now can control some of the stuff that you're putting a lot of effort into. Now, some people don't like that, and honestly, I probably wouldn't if I was a business, but on the agency side, that's how I go about it. So now they have a sub account, you can create an entire landing page, funnel, email marketing, text message marketing, all their stuff inside of one account. They can access it, you can access it. Things will just be a lot smoother, simpler, integrated, and frankly, you'll probably be able to make them money faster. All right, let's move on to step 2. We've onboarded, and now we're getting the results for these clients. Now, I talked about the low-hanging fruit, so I'm going to go in order of the low-hanging fruit. I'm not going to be able to show you step-by-step every single one of these, so it's going to be an overview, and you can always search in YouTube to figure out how to do that exact step. For example, if I say you're going to want to create a landing page, then you're going to search how to create a landing page and Go High Level. And I'm not going to show you a tutorial on how to do that, but in 15 minutes, you can watch and figure out how to do that. So we're going to step back and do a little bit more big picture here for you, so you know what you're doing, and the technical stuff will be really easy for you to search. We're also going to pick an actual business to kind of run this with so that you can watch and it can make sense. We're also going to be building this along as we go, and we're actually going to be using, I'm going to use a dog grooming business, which is kind of a pretty normal local niche that you could target, and one that I think is being underserved right now. So we're going to teach, and then we're going to use a dog grooming business as our example for how I would go about it for that specific niche. So step 1 typically for me is assuming this business is getting leads. Someone's coming in through Google or for Facebook or through referrals, right? They're not a brand new business that's just sitting there twiddling their thumbs hoping for their first customer. They're getting people to their site or to some of their pages, and we're going to kind of make that assumption as we go. So assuming people are coming there, we're going to first look at their landing page process. Okay, their landing page or their sales funnel, because this is where a lot of businesses lose people. And it's funny because for the next 5 minutes, everything I say is going to sound obvious, but we just had an issue at our house with the lights in my bedroom actually just turned off and they won't come back on. It's not a breaker issue. Anyway, and so obviously I went and called an electrician. The first electrician I called was running paid Google ads. I called the phone number. No one answered. They didn't call back for 2 days. The next one I clicked, went to the website. There's nowhere to book. So again, there's just a phone number. I called the phone number. Again, they didn't answer. They texted back after 4 hours. By then I moved on to the third electrician who is coming in about 30 minutes today actually, and will actually get my business.
I'm ready to work.
Small businesses lose so many customers to bad sales processes because typically when we're searching or when we're trying to find one of these small businesses, we want it now, we want it to be easy, and there's so many options, we're not gonna play around. Us as the customer, we're not we're gonna leave as soon as anything gets hard, uncomfortable, complicated, confusing, we're gone. We need to fix that process of the moment they find out about us to the moment they become a prospective customer. That needs to be ironed out quickly, and it's easy, and typically you can get some easy wins in there. So we're gonna create a new landing page. Like I said, they probably have a website or something like that. Ideally, we have one that we create on our own for a couple of reasons. We can track, we can own it, all those things we talked about earlier. So you're gonna go into your Go High Level account right here, okay? We're gonna click here, and you can see we've got this business right here. Now it's just showing the address because I didn't give the business a name, but we can go down here and we can begin creating our landing page and our funnel for them. Now again, we're not gonna dive into the minutia, but I want you to see how quickly and easily this can be done. We're gonna go to marketing right here. We're gonna go to sites. Okay, we're gonna go to funnels right here. We're gonna click new funnel, and then it's actually gonna give us templates. So we can click continue and watch this. All you have to do is go up here and you can search for templates. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I probably picked a poor business because dog grooming is pretty small and probably doesn't have any templates, or pet grooming, right? And I'm right, it doesn't have any specific templates for grooming. So we can run with one of these that we see right here, or we can just go down some of these categories and essentially we're gonna find something that we like. Now I'm probably gonna go into beauty and fashion right here and find something that kind of matches what we're doing. For example, I've got hair, right? Hair, barber, beauty, spa services. That might match pretty closely to what we're doing with ours. And I probably will just click on that. And you can see I can click on it and actually see it. I can click that preview button and see what's going on. That's a pretty good site, right? Or I can just say, yes, that's the one. I can click it, and essentially it's gonna download this entire template into our client's site right here. You can see I can just click, just like we did with ourselves. I can click continue right here, adding template, and now we've got an entire funnel waiting for our client. We obviously have to edit it and turn it into our own, but a ton of the groundwork's already been done, right? The general layout's already there, and we just have to fill in stuff. Now here's the first thing that I would do here with a pet business. You can see they've got a phone number or a booking. It's a little in between probably with a pet business, but typically some businesses prefer phones, some businesses prefer just being able to book directly. I kind of prefer booking directly, and the reason being that a lot of times, unless the business has a receptionist, they're not going to answer the call in the beginning. And what it's going to do, it's going to put the ball in their court. If they say, yes, I answer the phone, sometimes when I'm on a job, I don't answer the phone. Most of the time I am on a job, and so I usually call back. Well, what you're doing is you're making things harder for the customer. You're losing customers. And so in a case like that, where they don't have a receptionist or someone that is answering the phone 100% of the time, I would like and have a booking thing set up, a booking calendar. Lucky for us, we can go into Go High Level, and you can see right here, there's a calendar section. We can create a calendar for the client inside of Go High Level, and we can add a button that allows them to book directly on that calendar, which a lot of people prefer to do, which means when someone finds out about us, they can directly go book the appointment and be good to go on the spot. The second thing that I would also do is I would have a chat widget, and you can see up here inside Go High Level, again, you'll want to search this out. We can create a chat widget that shows up right there so that they can say, hey, do you offer this? Do you offer this? How much would it be for this? Things like that, depending on the service that you're offering. With a chat widget, a phone number on the site, and a book an appointment right now button if they're ready, you can get everybody that's coming there and turn them into a customer, or at least get them on the phone with you as soon as possible. So the first thing that I would do is I would create this landing page, okay? And you can see the landing page is basically done. I would fill it all out with my pet grooming business. You're gonna wanna have the booking button or the phone number button right there and right there, so it's instantaneous, easy to click, easy to become a customer, right? We want it to be easy for them to become customers. And then I'm going to have a chat widget for them if they have questions, and I'm going to have a calendar so they can book right away. And to give you an example, this is the electrician that I actually ended up going with right here, this local electrician. You can see here is their website. They've got a button to get a quote, which essentially means you put in some information and they call you, and then you can book directly right there. Quick and easy scheduling. That's very similar to what we're talking about, right? We want to make it easy for them to become a customer. This company got my business because they made it very easy for me to become a customer. Moving on to number 2, the second biggest piece of low-hanging fruit is promoting something to their existing customer base. So pretty much every business out there in some shape or form has been saving their customer data. Now, some of them have been good about it. They've taken their email addresses and their phone numbers and they've put it into softwares, and they send them email blasts, or they send them text deals like on holidays and things like that. And we've all received those, right? Well, some companies are doing that, but many companies, and especially the companies that we're targeting here, who may not be fully, have a full grasp on marketing, are not doing that. But they are still saving their customers' information somewhere. Almost none of them don't have access to their customers' contact information, which means that we can use this, and especially if they haven't reached out to their customers in a while, we can take that and we can make an offer to their current customer base. So if you look right here, I've got 49,611 people whose email addresses and contact information, and many of you are part of those people, I have access to, which means that I can put together an offer and I can email something over to them. And you can do that with these businesses very easily. For example, to go back to our pet grooming business, looks like it's about a month away from Labor Day. We could get all prepped, and a week before Labor Day, we could say, hey, we're doing a Labor Day sale. We're doing 20% off, or we're doing 2 for 1. You know, if it's your first time hiring us, we'll give you this kind of deal. Ton of different directions you can take it to make sure it's profitable and it works and the company's happy with it. The problem is many of these smaller companies just don't ever reach out to their customers again, right? They do the initial service and then they move on and continue to market. And it's way harder to market to someone that's never heard of you than it is to somebody who's heard of you, maybe even used you and been happy with you. So step number 2 is to sit down with this client and say, what can we offer? When can we offer it? And then send out the information to the customer about what you're doing. If you have a phone number, that's ideal. You can get a lot more eyeballs on it. About 90% of people will see a text or get a call versus about 15 to 30% with the email, depending on a few different factors. But either way, a lot of times you can pay your first 6 months of fees by doing something like this with the business, where you put together an offer and hit all their current customers with it, and they can make $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 extra in that first month with that offer, and you've now paid yourself your wages, right? Made yourself invaluable to them for at least the next 6 months while you work out the rest of this stuff. Number 3 is you want to increase the ROI per customer, right? How much money they make on average for the lifetime of one of their customers. So to go to this pet grooming business, let's say their typical customer comes in, they get their pet all groomed, and then they go home, and then 2 or 3 months later, they notice their pet's terrible, and they do it again. So on average, let's say the average customer stays for 1 year, an average customer, right? And they get 4 services in that 1 year, and the pet grooming service makes $400 off of those 4 services. So they make $400 on average per customer that they can bring in. Now you could come to them and say, let's get our customer on a subscription-based service. Let's get everybody on a every other month, bi-monthly deal here, where every other month we just come automatically, it schedules, it's very easy for them and it's easy for us. Also, that increases our ROI because now people are coming 6 times on average per year versus 4, right? They wait till it gets really bad. I do that with my haircuts. You've probably seen YouTube videos where my hair's scraggly and crazy looking because I wait till it gets really bad. Then I wait another week. Then I go into the shop versus if I had a scheduled day on the first of the month or something like that, I'd happily go in every month and get it done. You could also add another service where you say, not only are we going to groom them, but we're going to do clipping, or we're going to take them on a walk, or we're going to do a health screening. You can see that there's 30 different things that you could easily add, and not everybody will take it, but there are certain people that will. And the better the offer, obviously, the more people will take it. So you could say, instead of making $100 on average per visit, we shoot to make $120 or $130 on average per visit. And the way that we do that is we upsell them with these other different offers. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be awkward. They can just be added when the customer checks out or when they're there. Say, hey, we also offer this if you're interested. And if there's one thing I can guarantee you, you will be surprised. And I'm always surprised by the amount of people that just say yes to the upsell.
That sounds wonderful. Sign us up.
Number 4 is increasing their reviews. So now you can tell we're getting into the mid-range or the higher fruit where you can't directly connect what you're doing to ROI, but they can connect it and they can still tell and see what's going on. And reviews is a big part of that. Most people love to see good reviews and they love to get more and more reviews. They know that there's a connection between those reviews and every other part of their business. Now, reviews is awesome because it's automated. So you can set this up your very first month and 95% of the work will just happen automatically for them inside of this Go High Level account that we've been talking about, and it won't require any effort from you moving forward, but it will continue to get results for them moving forward, which is always a win in an agency business. So you can see inside of Go High Level, we can go to marketing, we can go to reputation right here, and if you see right here, there's a review section, and we can set up automatically to have a business start collecting reviews. So you can see in this review settings section, we can have it send out reviews via email, we can have it send out reviews via text. Now, I'm not going to give you a full tutorial on this because you can easily watch a YouTube video on how to set up reviews, and this is more strategic, but essentially you'll set this up so after they have an interaction with the customer, you can see we can send out SMS and email requests. Even better than that, we can send out a conversation and say, hey, how was your experience? Did you love it? Was there anything you could do better? And if they say, yeah, I loved it, there was nothing you could do better, oh, great, we would love a review. And if they say, no, I wasn't very happy with it, here's my reasons, well, that's good feedback, but we don't send them an option for a review. And you can see how we can get a lot of good 5-star reviews from this, and the people that aren't happy with us, we can use to improve our service, but not actually hurt our reputation. So you can see here, very easy to set up inside of Go High Level. You'll just have a template. Hi there, thank you for choosing, right? And you can have it all automated. So their location name, everything here, and then a link to the review. Now, like I said, I'd have you do a conversation, but you can see just how easy that is. And now all they've got to do is once they finished up with the customer, they would go into their Go High Level within an app or in the account, however they want to do it, and say, this customer's been complete. We finished the job. We've sent out a bill, something like that. And the rest of this will be taken care of automatically for them. Number 5 is missed text callback. And that's on the same vein of what we're doing with the reviews, where we're going to automate them not losing customers. So we talked earlier and we showed you all the stuff there where you can lose customers pretty easily as a business because people aren't going to give you a lot of time to call them back if they miss that first call.
Come back. Come back.
And a lot of these small businesses don't have secretaries sitting there waiting to take every single call. So there's two ways we can go about this. Right now they have an AI option, so you can have literally an AI agent talk to them, and we've all kind of talked to a few AI agents, and frankly a lot of us are not really in love yet with the AI agents, talking with an AI agent.
Hello, what can we do for you?
And so if they're comfortable with that, you can set up voice AI where they can actually have a conversation with an AI agent who can kind of direct them, set up an appointment, get them pricing, all that fun stuff. Obviously, you would have to configure it ahead of time. But right now, most people, from what I'm seeing, are more comfortable. Most of these small businesses are more comfortable with enabled missed call text back. And all that is as soon as that phone call comes in and it doesn't get answered, it sends a text. Hey, I'm working right now. I'm at a job. I'm out of the office, whatever you want to say. What can I help you with? And then they'll reply, hey, I'm looking to get a bid on this. And you can decide if it's worth you pausing your whatever job they're currently doing to handle that call, or having an assistant handle that call, or however they want to go about it. They can capture way more customers this way if they're the kind of person or business that lets a lot of calls get missed, because they're not going to get people. Even within 5 or 10 minutes, they're going to lose customers. This is just an easy, low-hanging way to go in here. You'll set up very easily inside of your Go High Level account, again, using a simple YouTube tutorial with something like this. Hey, I saw we missed your call. How can I help? And that goes out within 1 minute. They can respond and the conversation can begin. Number 6 is install a website chat widget. Very similar to what we're doing with that missed text callback, right? Where a customer's calling, ready to be a customer, couldn't get their questions answered right away, so they leave and go find someone else. Well, the same thing happens online constantly, right? They go to a website. Hey, do they talk about this? Oh, it's a pet groomer, or in this case, right, it's an electrician. Can they do this job? I don't know. I'm not going to read all this because I'm bored. I'm out of here, right? I'm going to go find someone else. Well, if we have that widget right here, you can see bottom right corner. They can click it. We've all used these many times. They can start a let's chat. You can set it to automatically notify the client, hey, someone just started this message conversation on your website. Wherever they're at, they can pop open their phone real quick and see if it's a legit question, right? Because a lot of times it's bots or spam or something like that. They can pop it open and say, oh yeah, this person's totally a potential customer. They can hop on and have that conversation real quick with them and potentially close a deal worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. And again, you can see inside of your Go High Level account, that is going to be another option once you set your client up, where you can set up a new chat widget right here. You can see you can kind of do an all-in-one where it can work through email, and we've all kind of been part of those. Not my favorite, but I usually just do a simple live chat where they're right there, and you can kind of set up the opening message. You can give them options, hey, this, or this, or you can just give them an open, kind of a free range if they want to just talk. It really depends on what business you're setting it up for. But this has been proven many, many times to help increase your conversions, because the people with questions are not going to leave. They're going to ask the question and give you a chance to close the deal. And you can see right here inside of Go High Level, there's a great example. Hi there, you have any questions? Boom, boom, boom. I need some help. And then they rate the experience at the end or start a new chat. We've all been part of this, and it does work, and the client will recognize this, and it's fairly low-hanging fruit again, because once again, we're not having to send more traffic. We're not having to go out there and find more people that are interested or rank them higher in Google, things like that are a little bit harder. We're just doing the very best we can at taking what they already have and utilizing it better. And number 7, the final one that I would recommend, these are the ones that I would start with, and then you can expand beyond that and other things, but I would start with Google Ads. Now again, this isn't the bottom, this isn't the lowest hanging fruit, but in terms of bringing in new business and really proving your value, Google Ads will be easier for you to understand as someone who may be newer to this, easier for you to catch on, and quite potentially very lucrative depending on a lot of different factors, where you're at, what niche you're in, and things like that. But you can see right here, when I type in pet grooming near me, we've got a bunch of businesses that are going to show up right here, right? The first one is a sponsored business, right? So they're not ranking organically. They're not ranking because they have a ton of reviews or a ton of good reviews or a lot of people are using them. They're ranking because they're paying to be there. Now, they also have a lot of good reviews. Clearly, they have a well-rounded marketing strategy, right? Where they're getting reviews and they're building a nice website and all that stuff. But now they're the very first option I see, and a lot of people just click that first option right here. They either directly call or they use the website, right? Now you can see, and I can see, this isn't a super complicated ad. So when you get into other platforms, it starts to get a little more complicated. Google Ads tend to be fairly easy in terms of just getting the ad up and running. And then you have to do data and stuff like that. But you can see you'll have a headline, you'll have kind of some really basic information, and that's it. There's also ads you can run down here. And you can see normal Google results, which look more like this one right here. You can also run ads in those. Again, it's a headline, it's a description, a little bit of text, sometimes a picture if they want to add one, and that. Very, very, very simple. The only caveat with Google Ads, and I'm afraid I'm overselling it, is there is obviously cost involved, and you need to be able to keep the cost to a minimum for getting the client. You need to be able to spend a lot less on these ads ads, then you are making in profit from these ads, right? That's how this works. It's a money game. If you can spend a lot less and make a lot more off each of these customers, you've done your job well. And so that's the game with Google. But learning the basics here, getting it set up, and a lot of times if you're in a smaller town, less competition, you'll find that it's not crazy hard. I've heard many stories of people setting up simple Google ads. They say this is how much I'm willing to spend to get us a customer or a lead, and it does well. So once you've kind of ironed out all those first 6, this is kind of your first expansion, in my opinion, into the paid ad world of, hey, we're gonna bring you leads, we're gonna grow your business, and we've already set up all the conversion stuff, so we know that we make the most money off of each of our leads, and now it's time to increase those leads. All right, we've talked about getting started, getting your website set up, bringing in clients, selling those clients, the first 7 different offers you're gonna make to those clients to really help them grow their business. And now probably the final piece for you is expanding your business. Okay, so you're gonna do this with 1, maybe 2 clients in the beginning. You're probably gonna be a little nervous. Maybe you won't get the results you hoped, but you're gonna get better. And then it's time to start expanding. Expanding comes down to 4 different things. Number 1 is leverage. We showed you a little bit about getting clients early. We showed you on Facebook or word of mouth or YouTube, these different ways that you can get your first client or your first couple clients. From then on, you're gonna use leverage. And what I mean by that is you're going to get results. So as soon as you get good results for your very first client, you're gonna head to Facebook, you're gonna head to YouTube, and you're gonna talk about those results. 100 leads in 10 days, right? We just started 30 days ago with XYZ client. We implemented our system and it worked. Not just worked, but worked well. You see where I'm going with this, even if I can't type very well. But you start to talk about it. You start to talk about it on your website, and you start to talk about it on a YouTube channel. You make a YouTube video about what worked. You put it out there that what you're doing is working. That's where the real clients start to flow, because now you get a bunch of people interested. Just a guy posting, hey, I'm new to this, or I'm just starting out, I'd love to do it for you. A little harder to get somebody to give you the time of day. Once they see you getting results for somebody in the same industry as them, really things start to go well. You get 5 clients, right? And you get good results for 1 or 2 of those clients, and you post those. Now, not only are you getting results and using those results and leveraging those results to get more clients, but you're building a reputation, right? Oh, this guy gets results for his clients. Every time you get a win, it's out there, it's out there, it's out there. You talk about it. Sorry if it feels like it's bragging. That's how the internet works. That's how this game works. You leverage your wins to get more and more wins. Number 2 is you expand in cities. And the reason I prefer to expand this way versus changing industries, you can go out and you can say, hey, we did so well with this pet groomer. Let's go hit up some electricians. Let's go hit up some other guys within our city, right? That works, but you kind of got to start over, okay? Now you got to build another website. You got to think about upsells. You got to plan it all. It just takes a lot more time as you think through all of these different things. But imagine that you could build all these systems for this pet groomer in your hometown, right? You've got their website humming and smoking along. You've got all the automations running smoothly. You've got the missed text callback, right? You've started to figure out ads and how those work. Now there's this really awesome feature in Go High Level called cloning, right? So let's say that this is my actual site inside of Go High Level, my actual stuff, but let's say this was one of my clients. I can go over to here. This is an entire funnel or website right here. I can click right here and I can click clone. And you can see right here, I can move that exact setup, the entire site, the entire funnel, the whole system, everything. I can move it right over to a different business. Now, obviously we're blurring these for privacy, but I can move it down to one of these 2, right? The entire system copies over and you can get results so fast. Within a week or 2 of this new client signing on, you can have them a new site that you know is gonna work. You can have them emails set up. You can have missed text callback set up. You can have automations for days, right? There's endless possibilities and you're only 2 weeks in. So expanding to cities close by is one of the easiest ways to grow your business because of how little effort it goes in. Plus it's easier to market to somebody saying, hey, you know the town over, we crushed it for them and we can crush it for you the same way. They're not competing, right? As long as you go far enough over. So this way you can expand 2 ways, cities, or you can go across to different industry if you want to try your hands in a different industry in the town that you're currently operating in. And the final one for you is upsells. We showed you 7 different ones. So you can start with 1 or 2 and you can build on top of each other. Hey, we did really good for you last month. We're getting you more reviews. Would you be interested in us adding mixed text callback? Would you be interested in us adding a website chat widget? We'll manage it for you, or we'll set up AI to manage it for you if you'd like. So it'll completely be hands off for you, but potentially bring in more leads and customers. Or would you like us to start running Google ads? Or we can expand beyond this, right? You want to learn Facebook ads, you want to learn Pinterest ads. Depending on your space and your customers, there probably will be a place where it makes the most sense to run ads. Or would you like us to do SEO? And again, we talked a little bit about white labeling, right? I can go to Google in 10 seconds and I can say white label SEO companies, and these awesome companies right here will do the SEO for you, and you can bill your customers for that white labeled SEO. So you expand by leveraging your current efforts, expanding across cities or across industries, and then by upselling the current people that you already have. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of what probably is the longest tutorial I've ever created on this channel. Creating an agency is not easy. It's not easy. When a lot of these influencers try to sell you the idea of a 5, 6, 7-figure agency, it is totally possible. And what you're seeing here is how they're doing it. You've got to learn to systemize. You've got to learn to expand and do all these different things. But this is a real way, not an easy way, to build wealth online. And it's only going to grow, I think, as AI allows you to automate a lot of this. So again, I'll leave a link down below to go high level. Yes, this is an affiliate link. I do get a commission when you do that. If you leave questions down below, I promise I'll do my very best to answer them, or you can email me and I'll do my best to answer them there as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys.